Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Today is Tuesday. Huh?
And the fun begins.
And the fun begins. One of you two thinks you're funny over here, putting all these stupid comments.
I don't know who did that.
The worst part is I trust neither one of you. So it could have been either one of you. Walter's over here playing with the freaking videos, so people think that the show's having epilepsy. So that means it's Tuesday, y'all. It's Tuesday, January, not October 24th. You see what I did there? Got the right date. Let me right month.
Yes, ma'am. So how'd your show go yesterday? I'm sorry I missed it.
It was good. I had to think. I was like, what show? I thought there was something extra. That was good stuff. You know what? We talked about Antifa. Somebody came on and what did they call you, Walter? A fat something sucker or something. I don't know. It was stupid. We were like, what the world? And I mean, he was super popular. He has like 145 friends. So
excellent,
no pictures.
Walter.
Yeah.
We had a troll.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I'm sorry I missed out on the fun yesterday.
I do not eat bugs. In fact, thank you, Simon. I will confirm I do not eat bugs.
Nah, she really
does. Actually, have you ever had those crickets, the bacon flavored crickets?
Nope, I sure have not.
Yeah, I think you did.
Never even had the worm in the bottle of tequila.
And that's what makes you
y'all suck.
Loser.
You know, crawfish are bugs, right?
What's that?
I'm just messing with Sandra today because I missed you guys so much. I've been so crazy busy, wrapped up in everything recently. I was on a phone call last night till after midnight. Right at midnight anyway. We'll talk about when we get to the local stuff. I was with an attorney. Was talking to him about
what the.
That's gonna be fun.
What is happening here?
No, I didn't do that one. That's not the one. No. But anyway.
What is China? You know what? I don't even want to know the answer. So we're no, things are good here. Today, okay, so here's some mom talk for just a second. So Arthur is super excited. He's gonna have his very first play date since mommy has been running for Congress, and it's a little girl who lives down the street, but who is also in his class.
Uh-oh.
I know. They are hysterical, and I think they're both just as crazy in a good way. So that'll be fun. I'm excited to have that happen today. Walter,
how did your other son's baseball tryouts go?
Well, okay, so he did much better than the kids who made the team. Way better. One of the kids pinged somebody. Another one kept throwing into the dirt, and the other one couldn't even catch anything. But Austin said, "You know what? I didn't make the team because I did a terrible job." Now, those of us who are grown-ups watched, and I appreciate it because I mean he was okay with it. He's like, "I didn't do a good job, Mom." And I was like, I disagree with you. I mean, it wasn't your best performance, but it was definitely better than the people who made the team. But here was the thing that irritated us is that we had on since we registered back in the school. Please keep us informed of anything that's happening with the baseball. We were staying on top of it. We were having conversations. He was having daily conversations with the coaches. Then we find out last minute that it was supposed to be on Tuesday of last week, if you remember correctly. Then we found out on Tuesday, no, we've moved it to Friday and Saturday. Okay, that's fine. Better even. Well, at the beginning of the year in August, they had him scheduled for the second semester to be on the baseball class, which was supposed to be his fifth class. And then the day that they come back to school, they removed him from the class and said, "Oh, it's only if you earn your spot." Well, him and 5 other kids were the only ones that were on the tryout field without the uniform on already. So I'll let you guess what actually happened.
Yeah. When I was young, I played Babe Ruth baseball, and I played baseball a lot. And you know, Babe Ruth baseball in Louisiana, I don't know how it's configured here, but you have like 2 13-year-olds, 7 14-year-olds, and 5 15-year-olds. So when you get to be when you're 14 and you're playing on the team, and then when you get to be 15, 2 people are getting bumped off because you just, you know, it's just a math thing. And I remember I was in DC on vacation, and they said, you got a spot on the team, man. You're the starting pitcher. You're the best hitter we got, center fielder. But when I got back, like you said, they had already given out uniforms. It was the commissioner's son, his cousin, the coach's son, the assistant coach's son, and one of the other all-star players was on the team. That was the 15th. So we were stuck. So it was such an egregious thing that one of the other coaches formed a B team for Babe Ruth. And we scrimmaged them and beat the hell out of them. So the commissioner, whose son was on the A team, disbanded our team. It was so stupid.
You know, we were sitting there, and I mean, look, we're not like that travel family who goes and spends thousands upon thousands of dollars a year for baseball. We're just the all-American love family baseball family. And so we're sitting there, and we've been involved in the Little League here for 12 or 13 years now. And so we're watching this. So the first day, the Friday tryout was like a traditional tryout, right? Like they had them in their different positions. Austin was doing first base because he's always done first base and pitcher. And so he did fantastic at first base. There was 4 kids that were on first base. The 2 of them, I mean, the one kid, he couldn't catch and he couldn't throw it. Like literally, I have no idea why he had a uniform. And so we're like, oh man, he's definitely got this. Like I've got videos of him playing and everything. He was really doing a great job. But then the second day we get out there, the coach tells us Friday, make sure that everybody's there by 10:30 so that they can warm up, and they were going to start at 11. Not a problem. Manny has him there at 10:30, and at 11:15 I'm getting a text message going, hey, there's another game, a scrimmage or something happening on the field. It looks like it's the varsity team. And I was like, well, I'm sure it's maybe just running over a couple of minutes. No. Then they didn't even start our kids until after 12. We were at that ball field all day long, which is not a problem. We're a baseball family, so we're used to that on Saturdays. However, it was a whole disinformation situation. Manny was contacting the athletics administrator just to be like, you know what, Austin did do a crappy job, but there were some kids out there who did really, really good. Austin should have at least deserved to be a bench warmer, if nothing else, because the kids that you guys picked were terrible. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But my uncle's like, "This, welcome to baseball on outside of Little League because it's cutthroat."
It should.
He's like, he goes, Sandy, for somebody who's super political, you should know politics when you see it, and it's everywhere, especially in baseball.
Well, they actually did me a favor because at that time when I was a kid, I was playing Legion ball. I was playing on the intramural play. I played on the All-Star. I was playing at my high school. Another thing, I ended up playing Dizzy B anyway, and it was nuts. And that's before that Babe Ruth team we had, we were undefeated, and I was the best hitter on the winning run in the championship game, and so it was a shocker when I got back from DC and they said, "Yeah, we've already kind of picked the team," and I'm like, "Well, who's on it?" And it wasn't just me they excluded, but some of the people they added, like the commissioner's son and his cousin. And the assistant coach's son, they weren't on it as 14-year-olds. They just weren't very good players. And so they bumped a bunch of us off the team, which formed another team, which was a lot better team. And of course you could that. Our team went from being 1 year to, about a 500 team the next year. So they themselves, just the politics of it. But that's how it goes in Little League baseball. It's not who you. Yeah. It's who your dad is, apparently.
Well, and Manny had made the statement. He goes. No wonder the United team sucks, and Alexander has been taking it here recently, because if this is how they play baseball, then I get it. He goes, I'd put them up against any Little League team here in Laredo, and they would do awful. But
one of the guys. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I was really proud of Austin, though. He went out there, he played, he never gave up. He told me, he goes, after my second or third pitch, I knew I wasn't going to make the team. He had him swinging, though, so I hear him say that, but I'm watching the videos and I'm like, Ked, you had him swinging, so you had 2 strikeouts, or two outs from striking them out. So he. I know I'm a
Yeah, the
little biased because
commissioners.
I'm mom, but he
The
knew.
commissioner's kid at that on that team that year, he gets on the mound to pitch, and he could throw the ball hard. I tell you, he could, but he was just really wild. And his first pitch, one of my Facebook friends, a guy named Steve Kellogg, you can look him up here. One of the guy's first pitches hits Steve in the face and breaks his cheekbone, and so that became the joke. Paul has a great breaking pitch; it breaks cheekbones. It was bad, messed up Steve
Yeah.
bad, but yeah, that team was terrible, and they got what they deserved, and whatever. I ain't bitter about it anymore. I got my undefeated season.
It's been kind of a joking point here around the house because Austin will try and slam on Manny, and Manny's like, yeah, but at least I made the baseball team, so there's that, so there's been some of that kind of and Austin's like, I can't even be mad at him. I can't, but like I said, he came out of he had this big smile on his face. We just knew that he was coming to tell us that he made the team, and he said, I didn't make it. And I was like, why are you smiling? He's like, I mean, I did what I came out here to do. I tried, and it is what it is, Mom. I haven't been on a mound in 3 years because it was my shoulder. First, it was my growth plate, and then it was COVID. So he goes, I did great for not formally have been playing for 3 years. He's like, but it wasn't good enough. And
tell him to hit the weights and get in shape and come back better than before. That's what he's got to do.
Yep, that's exactly what he's going to do.
Listen, it was actually a blessing when I look back, because when I was a kid, there wasn't a pitch count, so I would actually pitch 2 or 3 games a week because I was playing on several different teams. Yeah. And I get to the park and they'd be like, John throws, high 80s, low 90s. You got the ball tonight. I'm like, I just pitched last night. I threw 100 plus pitches, but they didn't care. They just wanted to win the game. So I got rotator cuff problems. Now I got all kind of issues going on as an older person because, you're pitching 2-3 games a week.
No, absolutely. Well, and I'm proud of him. He's in an AP class right now, an AP English class, and so he's like, honestly, Mom, I was stressing out because I didn't know how I was going to shuffle everything. He's like, so I'll practice more, and then I'll get right back on it.
Is he getting better at speaking English?
No, he still can't speak worth a damn, but he can write apparently.
Okay.
Well, let's jump into everything, if y'all don't mind. If you would indulge me and be so kind. Today is Tuesday. John Boucher beaming into you from the reddest county in the nation for now. Well, I got to throw that in there. I had Dave Roberts tell me, y'all are not the reddest county in the nation. Y'all elected Kevin Brady over and over. I'm like, stupid me. I'm just going by the numbers. Oh, Dave Roberts. That's all I can do, man.
That's all you can do.
I know. So on the international news, if y'all are paying attention to this, China. Every week we talk about China because China is doing a lot of stuff. China's even talking about discussing putting weaponry on the moon. As crazy as that sounds, but that's what they're talking about doing. China's top health official claims 80% of their population is COVID infected right now. Another study said about 900 million. So there's a 1.4 billion population there. So you can do the math yourself. By all accounts, people are dying at an alarming rate in China right now. 90% of the population in China is fully vaccinated. So how's it even possible? How's it possible? Fully vaccinated, but they're dying at such an alarming rate. China's government right now is receiving a lot of criticism for underreporting the death rate going on in China. Lots of death happening in China right now. Let me see if I can pull this up real quickly with you guys because I meant to show this. So there you go. That is a COVID ward apparently in China. So lots of stuff going on there in China. What are you guys hearing about China's COVID situation, Sandra, Walter?
Well, we're not hearing very much because China not be speaking right now. They're a little censored.
Yeah, they are.
I have a hard time believing that a country with nothing to hide would censor their citizens like that.
I know. It's all those Chinese communist billionaires. I mean, they're jealous of Elon Musk. They don't want to share their wealth, so they're trying to outdo us again. Meanwhile, the Mexicans are embracing the Chinese coming in with all their new investments into Mexico.
Elon Musk being a South African, that's a good transition, Walter. Good job. South Africa right now is planning military drills with Russia and China. Japan. Well, meanwhile, Japan's prime minister is greatly concerned that their low birth rates in Japan will make it to where they can't be able to function as a society. So he is vowing to increase the birth rates in Japan. Didn't Bill Clinton try that here?
Well, no, actually, I understand Bill Clinton was responsible for increasing the birth rate, or at least that was in the interns that he had in his administration.
Bill Clinton tried to. Bill Clinton tried to increase the birth rate here. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is talking about he is going to increase birth rates in China. That's a heck of a job, isn't it? Oh, I'm going to increase the birth.
Hold on. Wait, John, don't change the screen. Hold on. I gotta. This image has inspired me. It reminded me of something else that I've recently seen. Well, I say recently. It's really kind of from my memories. Give me just a second here. You'll see it. As soon as I do it, you'll see it. Yeah, that's that. Mm-hmm. Very similar.
Oh, wait a minute.
You can't tell the difference.
You're not supposed to talk about yellow people or yellow bears.
Dang it. I'm sorry. I'm a racist sometimes. I thought it was great how they were showing unity holding hands. It just reminded me of the Care Bears.
Very disappointed in you, Sandra. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm surprised she's not a librarian.
I should be. Where are my nerd glasses?
Well, it was nice to have Mike Beland broadcasting us last time he was on from Ukraine. No real news going on in Ukraine that I can see. Looks like all the battle lines are pretty static. What do you think, Sandra?
Well, I was going to say, funny that you should say that. There is talk, use that if you will, that where did the story go? I thought I had it pulled up. That Vladimir Putin might be losing some of his status a little bit. He might be pulling out or getting replaced. Walter, stop.
At least his pullout game is nothing like what Joe Biden's is right now.
Okay.
Simon said as a yellow person,
the
he'll
show
allow
into
it, by
the
the
gutter. Pat, Miss Patty, you watching this? It's not me this time. It's not me this time. And I talked about Japan increasing the population, and Walter goes, "That's fine, Walter. You can do what you want. I'm with you, though." On the national level, you see 7 were killed in Half Moon Bay, California. The media immediately rushed to call it a gun control issue and a hate crime, et cetera, et cetera. They will not walk that back, even though it came out immediately following that the gentleman was a 72-year-old Asian American who was upset with his ex-wife and went into the place. I still don't even know what kind of gun he used in the place, but there was a shooting. He ended up killing himself. But you have to search long and hard right now in the mainstream media to find them printing any kind of retraction or correction. They are still harping on gun rights. They are still harping on gun control. They're still harping on hate crime. But this was not some redneck from Georgia that went in and shot up the place. It was an Asian male who was pissed off at his ex-wife who went in and just shot anybody that was in the way while he get to her. So, Walter, what do you know about that? What are you hearing about that?
No, definitely. We need to stop Asian hate, even if it's Asian on Asian. It's the sad part is they demonize things so much over there in California. So those areas, people are afraid to. It's kind of like the COVID thing. Nobody wanted to physically stand up for anything, so they just went along. So here you have a bunch of unarmed people in an area where an armed individual comes in and there's no one there to react.
Well, it's easier that way. It's just like shooting ducks in a barrel. We talk about that all the time, or fish in a barrel. I guess, never mind. I'm not going to stop myself. But.
Okay. We had our January 6th event here on January 7th, which Walter was so gracious to MC. I got to participate in that somewhat. Sandra was there shooting some video for us. It was a great event. We were just standing up for the people on January 6th, their First Amendment rights. And one of the gentlemen that was pretty famous at that event was a gentleman named Richard Barnett out of Arkansas. And he went into the Speaker of the House at the time, Nancy Pelosi's office, and propped his foot up on the desk and took a picture, and apparently talked to one of the guards who told him he needed to leave and said, you're going to need to pick a side. We're at war right now. Anyway, so he was just convicted. He was charged with 8 counts. He was convicted, faces up to 20 years in prison for going into Nancy Pelosi's desk and office and putting her feet up on the desk. That's 20 years. But yet in Harris County here, you can kill somebody and make parole and get out and kill somebody, get put on bond and kill somebody. It's ridiculous.
What about this is worth 20 years in jail?
Yeah, that's kind of the point, isn't it? I think he's an oath keeper. There was some oath keepers also they went after 4 different oath keepers. They're trying to make an example out of these people is what they're doing. And where the Republicans?
I don't see where the law allows that though. Like who's in charge of the law these days?
Silly girl. You think these people care about the law? Come on. That's not true.
I'm a dreamer.
You are. That's why I like you. You're an eternal optimist. What else is happening?
So I wanted to. You were talking about China earlier, and then you quickly transitioned into the United States. There was a great story, and it combines the best of both worlds, if you will. Governor Youngkin, he deserves a little bit more than what he gets publicly, I think, in a good way. So he said, look, we're not going to have a partnership between Ford and Contemporary Technologies Company, which is known as CATL. It's a Chinese battery manufacturer. Yeah, lithium. They also do 50% of the batteries for Tesla. Well,
almost half.
They were going to come in. Yeah. They were going to come in and put in a $3.5 billion factory in downtown Richmond, Virginia, which is a very poor area these days. And he said, no, we're not going to do that. Sorry. So then when he had said that, we wanted to grow this area and bring in manufacturing jobs. But this is my favorite quote, I think, of forever. He said in his State of the Union, where did it go? Hold on.
His State of the Youngkin?
It's in his State of the Youngkin. He said on January 11th, he said, I've said it before, I want made in America to mean made in Virginia. But let me be clear, made in Virginia cannot be a front for the Chinese Communist Party.
Wow. We need a governor like him in Texas. For the past 2 governors, yeah.
I got to tell you, the funniest thing. Now, I'm not a huge Greg Abbott fan, but when he posted that, he actually went on Twitter. It was actually him that did it. It said, "I swear, I'm a better kicker than the Dallas kicker." That's funny.
Did he really say that?
He really did.
He did, but a lot of people were
I thought it was a
retweeting that.
spoof.
No, it was really him, and it's because I went and checked it out. I couldn't believe it. His Twitter account was actually him. I was like, this, you got to give it to the guy. I mean, it's pretty self-deprecating.
If you can't laugh at yourself, then who can you laugh at?
Well, I laugh at you, so.
Thank you, John.
So
later, Youngkin, hold on. This is really good stuff. This is what good governors look like. He said later, Youngkin told reporters that the Biden administration has a maniacal focus on getting rid of all fossil fuel generation, replacing it with solar, wind, or replacing every car immediately with batteries. When the reality is that technology that in fact drives us all is owned and dominated by the Chinese. Youngkin's 100% at war with China, and Abbott's welcoming it with open arms. Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, and it was just nonsensical. If you remember, we talked about it on the show. What is that? Youngkin's like Chinese? I mean, what? Come on, dude. Just be. Youngkin's a good governor. I wish we had more like him. DeSantis is a great governor. We do have some good governors out there.
I will remind everybody that one of Virginia's, I think their motto is the father of presidents. mother of president, something like that. Because we've had 8 come from Virginia.
8.
Mm-hmm.
My signal seems unstable. Oh, Kristi Noem's a good governor also.
Simon! What's funny is earlier Walter was yelling at me that my Virginia accent was coming out again.
Yeah, it's getting kind of scary here lately.
I don't even know what that means. It's just same old G.
Oh, she's
my internet.
Yeah, you're a little slow.
Wait, who, me or John?
Oh, that would be Sandra.
The Sanders? Okay, I'll just keep talking then. You see the Democrats want to raise the debt ceiling again, Sandra.
Of course they
They're
do.
accusing the minority in the House of trying to hold the country hostage. The debt ceiling entirely. Think about that.
Until they just stop spending money, it's almost a moot point.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You
Well,
got to
here's
keep
a
the
good one
lights
for
on,
you.
but we don't need to keep buying things.
Well, check this out. This is a good one to talk about. Planned Parenthood challenging Florida's 15-week ban on abortion. And they're taking it to the Florida Supreme Court. They really kill those babies. Republicans in Florida are pushing to move the 15-week to a 12-week. Now, remember, the heartbeat forms at 6 weeks. So this is even barbaric by any standards. But there is a movement with the Republicans in the House in Texas to push this ban down to 12 weeks with no exceptions for rape and incest, which, of course, the Democrats like to hang their hat on, even though it's such a tiny percentage of everything. I want to play something, listen to this, and harken back to your 3rd grade civics class or whatever, and see if you notice what's missing here. Okay, let me pull this up here. Let me get the audio on this thing too.
Her lips are closed.
I was going to say person of character.
Okay, well, here we go. See if y'all know what's missing here.
Okay. Now it looks more like that.
Can we draw things in there?
Did you get that?
No, it's
Nope,
frozen.
Didn't play.
Let me back it up again then, because my.
In the Declaration of Independence. That
Did she say the Declaration of Independence?
liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
Did you get it that time?
No.
Okay. She's quoting the Declaration of Independence. She said, "We are endowed with the right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness."
So was Willie Brown.
Both things. Right. The pursuit of happiness. We're what? That's number. We're missing that. And then she skipped the first one.
Down.
Okay. The psycho says we're endowed. Okay, she's in the declaration that we're endowed to liberty and the pursuit of happiness. She doesn't say we're endowed by who or what. And she
Willie
also
Brown.
forgets the first one, life. You can't have the other two, bozo, without the first one, life. So, to deny the creator, to quote that would say endowed by our creator, because that would imply that there's something bigger than us out there. I mean, the whole thing's just this woman's insane. Anyway, I love it when they misquote things. I especially it's like atheists quoting the Bible to you. You get that a lot too, you know.
Yeah.
Willie
Well,
Brown,
I think she was actually a little
Reliving a
confused
moment.
because She was having a moment because when she said the words endowed, the first thing she thought about was Willie Brown, and she was trying not to say his name.
Oh.
And he's all like, say my name.
Listen. I spent a lot of time on my knees just like she did. Anyway. Texas. Yeah, I went there. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick on Monday announced Senate committee assignments, and he reappointed Democrat John Whitmire to the Senate Criminal Justice Committee. Whitmire was the lone Democrat chair appointed by Dan Patrick. In a statement, Patrick, who presides over the Senate, he said the committee assignments would ensure we succeed in addressing the priorities of the people of Texas. In an acknowledgement of the debate over appointing Democrat chairs to those positions, Patrick said, the overwhelming majority of the bills voted on by the chamber will have bipartisan support, but make no mistake, the priority bills will address the concerns of the conservative majority in Texas. Does that give you a warm fuzzy, Walter?
Yeah, because he's we're going to lose John Whitmire anyway whenever he runs for mayor of Houston. So that just shows you the games that people play. I'm hoping that John Whitmire's area is pulling out a good conservative that they could throw in that run, because that's run starts next year. So
okay. It's funny because, Walt, weren't we just talking about committee chairs in Texas just before John came on? And you specifically made mention that he appointed all but one Republican chair, Dan Patrick. So Dan Patrick even appointed a Democrat chair.
Yep, and he's formerly one of Moco's finest. The kicker there is you look into John Whitmire. Specifically, he's going to be wants to represent the city of Houston, which happens to be the Chicago of the South. His senatorial district has done nothing of distinct abilities to curb crime. As a matter of fact, there's more and more shootings in his area. You physically look at the fact that Peter Flores was one of Dan Patrick's favorites. This would be his second term that he's in. Why wouldn't he put him as a chair? Because he spent 30 years as a peace officer. He was a colonel in the Texas Department of Parks and Wildlife as a game warden. That just tells you right there that Patrick gets one single, and anyway. But I will tell you this: how many Democrat committees? How many committees are there in the House right now?
0.
No, I'm sorry. In the Senate, how many committees are there? There are. On committees, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So now there's a subcommittee.
17?
Hey, so that's 1/17 that he got out of there. Let's see how bad the statistics are going to be when Dade Phelan finally decides to appoint his committee chairs.
So let's talk about that. Let's take a pause and talk about that for a second.
I got nothing to say on that.
You know what? No. I rephrase. Wait, hold on. Let's be fair a minute. Let's take a commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the House. How does that sound? The Texas House of all places.
The Texas House.
We'll be right back. are back. A huge thank you to our amazing sponsors, the Montgomery County Tea Party. Of course, 10 years of not just holding Texas Fully Loaded accountable, although it seems like it's been longer than that, but more importantly, making sure the right people get into office. And if they're not the right people, they're definitely holding them accountable. And even if they are the right people, they try and make them straighten up and do the right thing. Gosh darn it. Thank you guys for what you do. You don't just inspire Montgomery County, but you do inspire a nation. So thank you guys for supporting Texas Fully Loaded. Don't forget about their meetings on the first and third Mondays of the month. You don't have to just be a member to come. You can come. They even let me come. So make sure that you're there. And if you can't be there, then watch it here on Texas Fully Loaded social media. Yay. Also, a huge thank you to Skyland Companies. We appreciate you, Justin. You are a true patriot warrior. Who has got nothing but a heart for Texas and the United States. If you have any logistical or diesel mechanic needs or anything in between, please make sure that you give Justin a call. If you can't find him here on Facebook, then make sure you do contact us and we'll put you in contact with Justin because you definitely want him on your side. If you're interested in becoming a commercial sponsor for Texas Fully Loaded, please let one of us know and we will do our best to make all the things happen for you. Hey, look, the guys are back. I have some exciting news. Wait. Before I go any further, also, thank you, TECN.TV, for giving us a home. We're not little orphans anymore, just running around with like rebels without a cause. Like, thank you for believing in us and putting us on your network. Our viewers, we couldn't be here without you, most importantly. And if you are interested in being a silent sponsor, you can still go to TexasFullyLoaded.com and click on the button #WeThePeopleWork, and anything $5 or $5 million makes a difference. Gas is stupid expensive right now. I'm having to steal Alex's car because gas is stupid expensive right now. So I'm taking Alexander's car this week when I go up there because we have the rally against censorship on Thursday. They're at the Lone Star Convention Center. What are you doing, Walter?
It's right there in the banner.
Oh, it's in the banner. Okay.
Oh, it's in the banner.
And then it's in the banner. Okay, wait. There was something else I had to say. Oh, guess what, guys? We are now. Okay, this is exciting. Are you ready to freak out? Formally, the Texas Fully Loaded YouTube page is up and running. I'm brain dead because I've been working on the YouTube channel.
You can't blame that on work. You can't blame that on work.
On the YouTube channel, and I was trying to work on the commercial. I was up until 1:00 this morning. I just didn't get it finished. I'm sorry, guys. But we are now live streaming on YouTube. So for those of you who are like, I don't have Facebook or Twitter, and I can't always watch you on the .com, you can now. Oh, thank you. You can now go to our Facebook, our YouTube page, Texas Fully Loaded YouTube page, and watch us there. Charlotte wanted to introduce everybody to the newest member of the Witten clan. This is Happy.
Oh, look at little cute Happy there.
You know,
Charlotte came in carrying her like a little trophy.
I'm sure it's going to be a trophy for someone.
Several years ago, Sandra, my wife and I were driving down the road, and out of the car, we saw this rabbit in the yard, and my wife goes, it looked like a wild rabbit. And my wife, because she's got a sadistic sense of humor, she goes, see if you can go catch it. And I'm like, well, I'm a lot older now. I'm not as quick as I used to be. I'm not going to catch this rabbit. But I get out the car because the thing was just sitting there, and it ran over to me and laid down on my feet. And so I picked it up. It was somebody's pet they had raised, obviously. But it came home with me till I could find its owner. But that's the only rabbit I've ever had, unless I was eating it. So just so you know.
Ah!
Yep.
Simon, whose side are you on here? So I've always had bunnies. I love bunnies. When I was little, I had my own bunny.
I do too. If you cook them just right, they're delicious.
Yes, y'all are so mean. Yeah.
Wrap them in bacon. Make sure you get the fur off first.
Look at Charlotte. She's devastated.
She has no idea. This is why I wear AirPods around you bullies.
There you go.
Years ago, I was in this,
shaking bunny syndrome.
Group, Sandra. I was sitting in this group having breakfast, and this guy started going on about whooping cranes and how, the whooping crane, how majestic this creature was, and they're endangered. And it was just this impassioned plea to the whole group. And it was very uncomfortable because nobody else knew what the hell this guy was going on about whooping cranes for. And then when he finished talking, I said, if you cook those just right, they kind of taste like a cross between a spotted owl and a bald eagle. And he just stared at me like, you son of a... Yeah, I feel bad telling that story. That gentleman passed away a few years ago. We actually ended up being pretty good friends. He's a really good guitar player. But yeah, wow.
No, I grew up. I got a rabbit when I was, I don't know, I guess like 7 or 8, and I had I had him, and then we got him a companion bunny who was also supposed to be a him, and it wasn't a him, and then we had lots of bunnies, and then when we moved. I didn't have one until we moved back here or moved here to Texas anyway. And then the boys found one at a playground one time, and that came home with us. And then our bunny obsession started there again. So we've had a rabbit pretty much as long as we've been in Laredo.
Yeah.
Where they did, I would have no idea if they were. Okay, hold on there.
Ask Cookie.
Cookie eats guinea pigs, not rabbits.
Okay.
It's rabbits.
Her hates wabbits. That's what Charlotte said about Cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you tell them, Charlotte. Miss Patty's going to be mad. She must not be commenting or something, because usually she's like, hi, Charlotte. And I don't see her comments on here. So anyway. Hey, we're going to get back to the news, my little one. Both little ones. Oh! Who did that? They did it fast enough where I wasn't paying attention, so I couldn't see whose screen that was. Awful.
What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're saying.
I don't even like you guys anymore.
Well, that's all I got. I mean, I got some local stuff to talk about, but that's it. I figured I'd let you guys riff on the Texas situation since y'all have a much better idea of what's happening there. Walter, what are some of the key committees we need to keep an eye on right now? Some of the biggest issues, obviously, the ban on gender modification. We don't want them drugging and mutilating our children here in Texas. So that's a huge one for us. Educational committee, I would imagine, is a big one also. Walter?
Honestly,
well,
John,
actually, so the education committee, the Dan Patrick and the Senate decided to combine everything from higher ed, college, all the way down to the preschools. So now it's literally it's the largest budget we've got in the state of Texas, the largest singular budget we've got in the state of Texas, and that is education. Now, luckily for us, on both the education committee, the education committee is obviously chaired by our very own favorite Brandon Creighton, and the vice chair is going to be Donna Campbell. The only Morgan LaMantia, Jose Menendez, and Royce West are the only 3 Democrats on that. So, which is comical because Royce West is the one. Wasn't he the one who ran for? Didn't he run for? Oh, he ran for lieutenant governor last time around, and I don't think he got it, or did he? Royce West. He was good.
Would you explain to people the importance of the calendars committee? Because that seems like a pretty important committee.
Right now for the Senate, the calendars committee, we have we don't have a calendars committee. It's going to be in the House where we have those. Now keep in mind, right now as we speak, there are no formed committees. And last time this happened under Dade Phelan, he ran the clock out at the very last minute. And that's whenever they formed committees. That's why legislation was so late getting in, because there were no committees formed. So we're seeing a repeat of the last cycle, which obviously took us into the 3 special sessions that we had. Calendars is the one that actually schedules the different. Once it gets out of committee, it goes into calendars from whatever committee head. So the appearance is you want to build a pass. Let's just say the Homeland Security, you want to build a pass, and you make a deal with the calendars committee because the grassroots bill to pass, but the House really doesn't. They throw it in the calendars and it gets buried and buried and buried. Now you can actually check on those, especially if you're one of those folks that keeps up with what's going on. The bill is referred. It's obviously in the TLO, and then whenever it's scheduled for a debate. And what do we have? We don't have those. That's how calendars was the committee for about a century that would not a century, for several decades that would physically kill different bills that the House didn't want seen, but the public did. And then of course they go back to their constituents. If you're a Democrat, then the Republicans did this, but if you're a Republican, then it's the Democrats did this. So it's the uniparty, and it's the whole people only pay attention to what's physically happening in their own little district. Now that we're seeing there's more activists across the state that are combining forces from different parts of the state, now we physically get to see. We're starting to physically see what's actually happening up in the state house. So,
I can show you what's happening in the state house right now. That's what's happening. Nothing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And actually right now there is a prayer rally and then election integrity going on at the steps. But the Senate is ready to roll, but the House is not.
Yeah, well, there's already the blame game's already starting. We saw. Not going to get into it. Look, I don't want to bash anybody on this show because we have a lot of work to do this legislative session. But our House reps, us grassroots conservative people push them to do certain things. But I got to tell you, in the House, the calculus is they don't have the numbers to get the things done they need to do. So if you get too radical, you're going to probably see Tinderholt get pigeonholed. He's not going to get a good committee because he dared to stand up against Phelan. You're probably going to see Slayton pigeonholed also. So he'll have a lot of stroke here with us because we love the guy. We love what he's standing for. But are they really going to be able to function within the mechanizations of the House to get anything done? What do you guys think?
No, we're just kind of stuck right now, and that's just how it's going to be. I'm looking right now. The only thing physically happening in the House as we speak is Sophronia Thompson is working with Joan Huffman, John Whitmire. They are having a press conference on human trafficking prevention. This was something we discussed yesterday at the Magic Circle down in Houston. John Spires and the TPPF had a pretty decent presentation on cartels and whatnot. But John Whitmire is actually physically speaking as we speak. But you can see the House, Dave Phelan's House, is not operating in public right now. There are no committees, so no business can really be done. And actually, I do think they put a hold on it. I think we have until February, and then that's whenever all of the legislation and bills are done, so that they can ask the governor to add whatever to the call, and that's where the governor gets to see what legislation is out there. What legislation is being brought in, so he can create the call around that.
Okay.
I was trying to find. Hold on, because I did see something on that this morning. Also, I guess that was just about the Senate. I wanted to kind of bully the Texas House on this. I mean, it's childish. It's just another way for Phelan to stick it to the grassroots and say, we really don't give a crap about you, because we don't. And not just the grassroots. This, as far as I'm concerned, it's a full-on attack for the
lobbyists.
No, for the state.
The different. It is an attack there. The lobbyists and the donors are the ones who it's becoming more and more popular and more public persona that those are the ones that actually run the business of the House. This is what we want to get done because that's my special interest, because this is why I gave you $750,000.
Yep. Well, you're right. It's disgusting. It's absolutely gross. I want to.
Thank you so much.
Walter, do you want to talk a little bit more about the Texas ledge or anything else that's not happening there?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. We were there last week, We got to sit and talk with Ryan Guillen. We got to talk with Brian Slayton. I thought it funny that we sat there with Ryan Guillen, and he, as a Republican now, he has his eyes open to a lot more things. He did not know that Dade Phelan was such a contentious person to take money from. So, and what is the truth on that one is Ryan Guillen is now a Republican, but he's actually been in the House longer than Dade Phelan, the Speaker, has. And you'll see there's a lot of that. You've got Tom Craddock, used to be the Speaker. I think Tom Craddock is still, Tom Craddock's still in the House. That's Christy Craddock's dad. So there's a lot of work that he's doing, and he's actually done a lot of good stuff. He is the old school, what they like to call establishment, but there was a lot, even into his 80s, he's making some good things happen right now.
Yeah, Governor Abbott goes award to the worst choice of words goes to Governor Abbott. Glad you finally came out of the closet, Governor Abbott. To Ian. Yeah, brilliant, dude. Brilliant. You wonder why we make fun of him.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
hey, at least he's got his good kicker game on. He can. It depends on how he goes to the uprights.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe he said that, but he actually said that, and it just cracked me up, dude. I mean,
Wow. Just wow.
Well,
Yeah.
you gotta have a sense. It's raining like hell here. I can't believe it. Let me find that.
It's funny. We actually had rain here in Laredo from like about 10 or 11 o'clock last night until about, 9 o'clock this morning. But the Weather Channel app said that we had no rain and you did not need to bring an umbrella out. And I'm like, well, I will be damned. I've got to be the craziest person on this planet right now then. I want to share something. Miss Patty said it's sunny and warm there on Tibbs Island.
I need to go visit Tibbs Island. I just haven't gone yet.
We should do a
I'm afraid
Texas
I'll
Fully
never come
Loaded at
home.
Tibbs Island.
I'll just stay there forever and just get a job, making sandals on the beach or something. I don't know. Try to make a lot of these good old boys here very happy.
She said we could do it. All right, I have something I want to share with you guys. I can't take credit. I can't take credit for this video, but Walter and I have been trying to come up with ways that we can spice up Texas Fully Loaded a little bit, and I'm proud of this.
Well, one of the ways y'all
Walter
came
did
up
it,
with
though.
was having me on here, so that was a good idea.
I know it was.
Seditious, saucy, salacious, Stephanic, Scammer, Santos.
That's just sick.
That is right.
Good
okay.
stuff. Salacious.
There's our good buddy. So actually, as people were like, he was not a drag queen. Well, he finally came out while walking through the airport in LaGuardia. He would not answer other questions. Of course, reporters did stop by his sister's home, which was his home address of record. Turns out he's moved out, and his sister is tired of people knocking on the doors of her house in Huntington to get to answer questions. We're still trying to. I think he is actually the right man for the job. He was able to create $700,000 in loans out of his $50,000 a year salary, and the House is not investigating that. So you've either got to have Kevin McCarthy wrapped around your finger like Elise Stefanik was, because remember, people don't remember this, but in 2020, George Santos was elected, and then they recounted and recalled him while he was in his freshman orientation. And so he went back onto the campaign trail. the Republicans said, we're not going to run anybody against him. We're going to let him go with it. And this is what they got. So another black eye in the GOP. And you know what? The fun part is, what is the separation of numbers that we have between the GOP and the Democrats in the House right now?
I think Republicans have 222. Let me make sure real quick.
Well, okay, hold on, because I didn't want America to just see you and John to have that amazing dance off. I actually,
Is that what that was?
That was, well, I mean, that was part
So
of it.
there was actually a larger, right now there's a larger divide in the House, a larger split in the House than what we had from 2020. So if we were to lose George Santos right now, we would not lose the House, nor would we be in jeopardy of losing the House. we might actually gain some respect.
222 to 212 with total. Yeah.
Initially, we only had a 5-point loss, a 5-person loss in 2020. So the fact that they are,
where's the vacancy in the House? Where's that at?
Hold on. Okay, I got so much George Santos for you guys today. Hold on a minute.
yeah, it's George Santos is literally. We should do a segment every single day on George Santos because it's ridiculous what's coming out. He's lost 8 of his 10 staffers, so he's only got 2 of his originals. He can't. I mean, he's malfunctioning. Democrats and Republicans in surrounding areas have taken over his constituency services. So the House physically is saying, hey, you can stay there, keep your paycheck, but you're not going to be allowed to do any work. This is the leadership of Kevin McCarthy. Kick his ass to the curb and make it happen. I mean, just be done with it. Gain the respect of what America has lost in you, and we will find, because even if you get a Democrat in that seat, the key is those people will be represented by someone who's actually true, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Thank the Lord he isn't from Montgomery County. Well, Miss Pat, actually, we've had some folks that they may not be drag queens, but they sure as heck didn't carry themselves like Montgomery County would have liked. That's why we now, Kevin Brady did so bad they had to give us 2 rhinos to replace them.
Oh, that's horrible.
Okay, I have a final. Okay, I have a little game. Simon always wants us to play games on the show, and man, oh man, do I have one for you. Okay, so hold on.
I'm physically ready for this.
Okay, hold on. I gotta get the other one. I was just pulling it up. Dang it. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I can't get the other picture pulled up. Okay, I have a story for you guys, and you tell me who this was. Okay. They claimed to have been mugged. It was targeted, most likely, no doubt,
Smollett.
by 2 men.
Smollett.
Wait a minute. They stole their shoes in the middle of 5th Avenue in the middle of daylight. They definitely were not black people. They were certainly white people. Who said that? Walter, you said Smollett. John, do you have any other guesses?
I was wrong about Smollett. That was Chicago.
It was.
Yeah, I remember it was another race hoax. Gosh.
Wait, was that George Santos?
It was, in fact, George Santos. So George Santos's latest and greatest is that he's
a victim of white supremacy.
Simon, well, we're going to give credit to Simon Garcia with the Santos answer first. So.
He answered it first. So Simon was a victim of an assassination plot. Also,
Simon was?
I'm sorry, George Santos.
Are these the tales of Lytle? So Simon, are you hanging out with the cartels again? It's the Taco cartel.
George Santos was a victim.
It was fake
of an
cabrito.
assassination plot, and his home was vandalized, and nobody cared. He and his husband could have been there, but they were at a party in Florida. Who believes him? Now, wait. It gets even better. So
but
then
wait,
after that
more.
story was released this morning, Jean Perrier, our favorite, or whatever the hell her name is, the press secretary, the dumbass.
That's a better name.
she gets asked out loud during their press conference this morning because the White House is preparing for their new member party or whatever the hell they call it. And so she comes, so they, they're asking questions. She's like, I'm going to need you to refer to the Office of Legislative Affairs. This isn't something that comes across my desk. I don't have the answer. So then the reporter further asks, but is George Santos going to be invited? To which everybody in the room laughs. Everybody in the room laughs.
So it's like, did they present Brian Crist's resolution honoring himself or something? Is that what happened?
I think that's exactly what happened. So then she even says, I appreciate that everybody has laughed about this. Now wait, there's more. There's always so much more with him. He's like that gift that keeps on giving. I'm going to share this video with you guys because you're not going to believe it. He actually decides, you know what? I'm going to do something for the people to show that I'm one of them. Even in the middle of everything, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to do this for you, America. Yep, this is it. Hold on. Watch this.
Oh, man. Sound.
There's no sound. Well, I guess there could be.
Listen, guys, I like what you've done with the drapes. Here we go. Play it here.
Thank you so much for being here and doing your job. Thank you. Thank you. Seriously, I appreciate you. There's coffee and donuts.
I wouldn't touch those donuts. You don't know where they've been.
What's our plan today?
He probably stole it.
I got an extra special frosting for you.
Now, get this. He's been assigned to committees. Did you guys know that?
You got to be kidding me, right?
The question is to work for the American people. Legislate. That's what I got hired to do. So you can look forward to some cool stuff coming out of this office soon. All right?
Cool stuff. Yeah.
Well, there you go. There you have it. That's all I needed to hear.
You know what? I bet he's going to start making TikToks.
Isn't that fantastic? Just like Kat Kammick.
Oh, Simon.
Simon,
you need to just take my place on this show, man. You're much more entertaining than anybody on this show, and I can just get off.
One sassy bee. That's right.
Beehive? Is that what he typed? I can't see. I'm not wearing my glasses. Yeah, I can't. I get. Okay, hold on. So he's actually on committees. Hold on. Let me tell you which ones it was. One of them's the Small Business Committee.
Because his business was so small, but he made so big.
Hold on.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
It's kind of like a Brazilian drag queen event.
So yeah, no. Okay, so McCarthy made sure that he got on committees. He got put on. Where did it go? Small business, the Committee on Small Business and the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology.
Ooh.
Committee on Androgyny. Yeah.
What the hell is he doing on committees?
And yet Marjorie Taylor Greene, they would not fight for her, but Kevin McCarthy freely gives the biggest fraudster ever. Puts him on committees.
Well, you can't fault Santos for his war on subtlety, right?
It's just,
man.
It's literally better than herpes.
What?
It's better than what?
Herpes. You know, the gift that keeps on giving.
What the?
Sandra? I mean,
What? You
I
can't tell the difference between the two. They're both just covered in. Never mind.
Sandra, just please stop.
Stop. You're bleeding us, Sandra.
Well, I've got some. I know I gave you one of these, Walter. Did I give you one of these? Let me pull this up. I know I did, Walter, at one point. This is my lapel pin I wear. Put on the full armor of God, Ephesians 6:13-17.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. That's what I wear on my lapel usually. I mean, this has got my Lone Star groundwater one on it, but whenever I go out, I wear it, especially with all the garbage I got to deal with. And, Uh-oh, what happened? You want to film?
Simon started yelling at me. He goes, Sandra, I have never been ashamed of you until right now. Even when I found out you ate bugs.
Pat,
and of course,
Pat, I've got one of these with your name on it, but I just think it's important. I would like to, in sort of moving this thing to a little bit better conversation right now, I hope.
Yes.
I would like to start having more of a prayer session at the Montgomery County Tea Party meetings, because we have to. I think we have to be a praying group. I just think it's so important right now. There's so much spiritual warfare happening right now in the grassroots. I'm watching you get torn asunder. That's a biblical word, Sandra. And I don't like it. And so I really feel in my heart that we need to do more of that. What do you guys think about that?
No, I think it's fantastic. You know, I'm Miss Patty said that can be first on our agenda. Ask Walter. I mean, that was something that was, it still is. It's something that's always been really important to me as a healthy prayer life. With our campaign, it was something that we made sure that we did before every meeting, before I would ever take the stage. You know, it's so vital. It's so important. You know, even before I get on, before my feet touch the floor every morning, it's something that we have to do. There's so many different attacks. And look, let me be clear about this. It's not going to prevent, well, that's the wrong word. It's not going to, it may not change the outcome, but it may change how I react to it. Prayer is such an important and vital. I can tell you right now, that's one of my gifts is a healthy prayer life. It has to be. Even before politics was ever in my wheelhouse, it was something that I've always been called into. And I'm not you know, the Pharisee standing on the street corner. I'm real in my prayer, and that's exactly what God wants from us.
Yeah, Simon says, would y'all consider starting TFL with the pledge, the prayer of allegiance? Sure, we could do that. We could also just, incorporate it into our opening video, maybe the national anthem or something. Might be a way to go with more.
Maybe you can sing that, John.
With the flag. Yeah, I do. I sing them occasionally at different events.
Y'all are cute. Y'all are really cute. You know what? I was going to put notes down, and now I'm done. What, the banana peels?
Uh-huh.
I think it's the FBI.
FBI, yeah.
It probably is.
So I do want to talk about the Montgomery County Republican Party here. I know everybody loves hearing about that, but I just want to let you know the depth of stupidity that goes on here. So recently, our chairman has gone around to the Republican women in this county and told them that me and a couple of others, embezzled all the money from the party. They sent out a newsletter saying that, which is totally not true, accusing us of conspiracy to commit fraud, and embezzlement. They carefully worded it to where it's like, this happened in another county and these people were indicted, and now this case is in the hands of law enforcement, which there's no case. There's nothing. It's not even like the other thing in the other county. They're just making stuff up, and they keep making stuff up. But Sandra, it would surprise you to know, or probably not surprise you at all to know, that they're lying. And they're telling these Republican women that we didn't pay the rent on the headquarters, and therefore we've lost the headquarters. When the real story is our chairman is trying to sign a new lease on the headquarters, from what I'm told, in a different organization's name. So he's trying to hijack the headquarters. They've been trying to control the Republican brand here for a long time, because if they can't control it, they want to destroy it. And so that's what they've been trying to do for the past couple of years, and we're not letting them do it. So I just want to make sure that's clear that what they've told these Republican women's group about the rent not being paid is what we would call in common nomenclature a lie. And there's the receipt for the rent through January 31st as it was paid. But they've been telling people, if you go by the headquarters, the lady that works here says, yeah, well, Brian told me that the rent is 2 months behind. It's in arrears, and so we've lost the headquarters, and they've told us to vacate. Absolutely not true. It is a lie. We have paid the rent. We have never been behind on the rent. There was one time that a rent check was lost. The landlord notified Brian. I think this was way back in August or something. Notified Brian. Brian didn't tell anybody about it. And then when we found out about it, the rent was paid immediately. Went and handed a check to the landlord and got it all squared away. It had something to do with the bank's automated system for paying. It wasn't anything that we just forgot to pay. It was the bank screwed up, and the automated system didn't generate a check, or the check was lost. We're still not sure what happened with that. We just know the money didn't come out of the account, so we knew that he didn't cash a check, so another check was generated. But all that being said, we're paid through January 31st, and they're telling people that we're losing the headquarters because of this. So just more lies, more confusion from these people. And so last night I was on the phone till midnight with an attorney talking about our situation here and about the defamation that they've done towards me and others. And we got something in the works. So, it's like the old saying goes, play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
And John, I was looking at some Facebook posts, kind of going through those last night, and I noticed some of our former officials that ran for election and lost were commenting on, we just need to get along, and we need to find common ground. And one, this is one of the reasons why they did not win their election, and two, the common ground in fraud is what? I mean, what are you supposed to reach across the aisle and do right now? With what's happening with George Santos, this is literally our George Santos moment. We physically have George Santos running the party. He is telling the people, and remember, we're the reddest county in the state, and I know that we've reelected Kevin Brady so many times, but this is why Kevin Brady was reelected. This is how Morgan Luttrell got elected. This is how Dan Crenshaw got the help that he got within Montgomery County after pissing off 23 million viewers on social media. We have George Santos running your party. This is what you're going to get. And there's people that are just staunchly, oh no, he's a great guy. That's fine that he's a great guy and you want to believe him. But literally, the evidence is there. People do not want to believe physical evidence. Here, you just showed the rent slip. Now you're getting into here. Let me open up the books. The funny part is, why can't they just meet up at the headquarters and do that? Why can't they just open the books at the headquarters?
Well, because everything's hidden, and he locked us out of the headquarters entirely.
There you go. So
we're locked out of the headquarters. We can't even use it. The party can't even use the headquarters. That's right. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we've discussed with the attorney last night.
When I was in Maverick County and they elected their chair a couple years back, I was there at the ceremony at the Lubies, and we were it was a pretty proud moment, although there's some fraud that came out of all that stuff as well. The kicker there was the former county chairman gave the new county chairman, the box was cash money, all the receipts, everything you could think. It was like $62 and something cents. And he kept it under his bed. And while that sounds egregious here, on the border, they didn't want a Republican Party. Nobody would let him bank there. So this is what he had to do. But his house was always open. The books were always there, and anytime you looked at the books, you got a receipt of what you looked at, and you could put down an argument or not and take that with you. So, and of course, you keep one copy. And the guy, as best he could with the technologies we have today, as best he could, he was basically on stone tablets saying, "Hey, no, I'm honest. I'm honest." Here we have our guy who's locked everyone out of the headquarters, and then yet we still have these knuckleheads on social media going, "You'll just got to find common ground." Why? Why would you pay rent when you can't access it? And on top of that, that guy that lost his election, the money that should have been paid to help him out win his election in the primary, well, not in the primary, but if he would have won, that was money that was used to decorate the office building whenever it should have been used on candidates.
Yeah, and it is enraging, actually. You have a group here of patriots that are sacrificing so much to fight against the corruption and fight for election integrity and fight for this county. In fact, they're fighting for the same voices every election cycle that decry all the corruption and the unethical crap that goes on in our elections. And so here's a group of people putting their money where their mouth is. They're putting the work in. They stand up to do this job. And as soon as they do that, the cabal starts whining, and here come all the coward caucus and saying, "Y'all just get along." It is maddening. It is, I was talking. I guess you're probably referring to that thread I was on with the guy that ran last cycle, where he just kept saying he would. It was like talking. There was a skit a while back. The guy that played Kramer. I don't know if you remember this. He walked in. He goes, "Why is my insurance so high?" And the guy goes, "Well, the law of large numbers. And when you look at the actuaries and they explain, he goes, yeah, but I understand. But why is my insurance so high?" And they go, "Well, that's because the rates go up because of inflation, blah, blah." Okay, but why is my rate so high? So no matter how many times you explain it, they keep saying the same ignorant thing over and over. And so that was the problem. It's like, he accused me at one point. He said, "I know you don't want to compromise and you won't compromise." I was like, "Did you read the mediation report that said exactly that John Boucher and the people are willing to do whatever it takes to bring the party together within the rules? Did you read that?" "Yeah, I read it, but you won't compromise." It's just so aggravating, dude, that I don't even know what to do with myself when I hear that.
And isn't this the guy that ended up being like a legal representative for some COVID scam that now they're in the millions of dollars of COVID, as we've seen it, COVID's a scam. And then all these people that made all this money off of it, now all of a sudden they've got an opinion based upon truth. Yeah,
exactly.
If you're not on the right side of things, Cam.
I'm happy the guy made his money. I really am. I'm happy for anybody to be successful. But I don't know if you saw it, I said, I really value an outsider's opinion to an inside problem. You have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yep.
And this happens so much in political circles. And, the other one I get is, we're all brothers in Christ. We should all just get along. I was like, I seem to remember, this thing about evil and sin. I remember these things from my biblical teachings, and I'm seeing what they're doing to people right now. The lives they're trying to ruin, and I'm sacrificing much to stand up against that evil, and you're helping the evil. How does that make you righteous in this?
Didn't Jacob have a coat of many colors that his brothers helped him to carry around?
Oh, yeah, that's a polite way of putting it.
I mean, anyway, yeah.
Here we go. This is what it's funny, John. It's something that we talk about here. And I shared this. I shared it on Texas Fully Loaded, but I also shared it on Sandra for Texas. And it's an image. Let me just share the screen really quick so you guys.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the bad part about this, Walter, and I really feel horrible about it, but it's like the lawyer said last night. He said the people that are going to get named in this lawsuit, they're going to be upset because they're going to say, "Well, we didn't know what was going on, but you're an adult. You should know. You know what you're getting yourself into." Now, there are some of them I don't feel sorry for that jumped into this, that knew exactly what they were doing. And they did it anyway. And they kind of giggle about it because what they're calculating is that maybe the state won't do anything to them. Maybe the courts won't get involved. But some of the stuff is so cut and dry. And that's usually what happens. It's like we took this to the RPT because we're trying to do things correctly. We go through the RPT. We go up to the RPT, and the RPT goes, "Look, guys, y'all are a county party. Y'all are all adults. Y'all just handle it." And so we got 44 other counties or so, 42 other that are causing trouble. We don't have the resources and time to mess with this. We don't want to mess with it. So then the bad actors then go, "See, we were right. The RPT sided with us." And so that's what they're going to do. If the courts eventually just say, "We don't want to touch this," because there is a precedent for all courts having a laissez-faire approach to political matters such as this. If that happens, and I just think it's evil to say, "Well, you know what? Because there's no accountability, I'm just going to go totally off the rails and destroy the parts. Nobody's going to stop me." I actually talked to the lawyer last night about having the Republican Party of Texas joined in this lawsuit because we don't really have standing to enforce the RPT rules, and that's what's at issue here. And the
Yeah.
Republican Party saying, well, gosh, we don't want to get involved because we don't want to expend resources on a legal case. And so you guys go do it. So we have to go out there. And I'm afraid we're going to get in front of the court, and the court's going to go, well, y'all are trying to enforce RPT rules, and they're not the plaintiff here. So, so I don't know how it's going to go, but I do know that the defamation thing is real. And I do know that they crossed the Rubicon on that. And I did look into, as long as I'm not in my capacity as a public office, in my capacity, they can criticize me. But outside of my capacity, and I am an elected official, and I won't go too much into it, but what they did is defamation. It's textbook defamation.
But Charlie Raleigh's attorney did get him off those criminal charges that he was convicted of.
Yeah.
But lucky for you guys, Rusty Hart is a criminal attorney, not so much a civil.
Well, I guess he could say, my client was too stupid to understand the definition of defamation.
Well, and the key on this other thing is going to be, so who pays for this? This is the county chairman. He's already wasted $20,000 of the donors' monies that was meant for candidates, and he's already spent that so he can have a Taj Mahal to the Republican Party that no one can access right now. So,
yeah, it was that, and I tell you, his email, his letter from his desk or whatever he sent out, that was just fraught with lies. Every line of it was a lie, and I just wonder how many people are gonna put up with this, because usually the way it works, Walter, and you know this because you've been with me in this for a few years now, is when somebody has bad information. And I go to them and I go, okay, you were told this. Let me show you. Here's a documentation that shows that what you were told is not true. And here's another document. And I'll send you a video link, etc. And I give all the information. There are some who look at that and say, wow, I had no idea, John. How can I help you guys? This is ridiculous. This guy's been lying to me. There's most of them do that. But occasionally you get somebody, Susan Johnson, who will say, yeah, I get all that. I know I've been lied to and I don't care. I'm going to keep going.
yeah.
You have those like that, Wesley Doolittle, who are okay with being lied to because they think it has some gain for them long term. Keith Lincoln, but they do these things, and you got to chase them down and say, I will oppose you in anything you run for. Not because we're on the opposite side of things, because you revealed your character to me, and you're willing to do these nasty things knowing they're wrong. I can forgive ignorance. I can help with ignorance. Evil I want to have nothing to do with except to fight it to make sure it never gets a foothold in anything, Raquel Lewis. And I will keep doing that as much as I can throughout this, Mark Frank, every day, as long as I'm drawing breath in Montgomery County. James Byers, go ahead.
We're very subtle on this show. We don't like to just put anything right out there.
So actually, you kind of drew an alarm whenever I heard some names there, because.
Did I say some names?
Did you?
It must have just slipped out.
I'm wondering why former Texas Rangers that should know better.
You would think, and it's not like he doesn't know. I've contacted him on it and told him about it. And this gentleman wants to be sheriff now. He has filed to run for sheriff.
I was going to ask if that was the same one that we had discussed earlier. Well, but I guess so.
Yes, he has. He has filed to run for sheriff. So my feeling is, if you can't be trusted with the lowest political office, why should I give you the most powerful? We're working against that gentleman.
Well, actually, technically, what can physically happen right now doesn't matter if he's running or not. It's up to the Republican Party to let him be a candidate or not. And if he's violated those bylaws, and then as a precinct chair he is censured, now he is no longer afforded the opportunity to run on the ticket if the group as a whole puts it that way. He physically would have to possibly run as a Democrat, and maybe this is their plan.
Yeah. Well, listen.
So is breaking the law okay with a candidate for sheriff?
Well, no. So here's the part. So that candidate for sheriff was physically in illegal precinct chair meetings, illegally called meetings, meetings that were on Zoom, because Zoom is specifically against the. And each time you do it, it's one count. It's one count. It's one count.
Now, guys, I really feel like you are being completely fair and honest in what you're saying here, and I think that you're going to hurt a lot of people's feelings because of it.
Well, you play play stupid games. Guess what? You win stupid prizes.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of whining and gnashing of teeth, because I'm going to tell you it's so predictable. Let me tell you what's going to happen. So when these people get served the lawsuit, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to put on a sad face and go to everybody and go, "Can you believe they're suing us? Christians suing Christians?" You know it's coming. Look at how they're dividing the party. It's coming. This was a last resort, because the RPT decided that they were just like, well, y'all are adults, work it out. And we're like, okay, let's work it out. Hey, Brian, follow the rules and respect the vote of the majority. No, look at this other little trick I'm going to do, and just keeps conniving and destroying the party and meets with this little cabal. Well, they're out of runway, and we're going to move forward with them. And there's people that have already stepped up to handle the situation, and I'm not going to say much more about it, but expect this thing to get rolling in the next week and a half or so.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. I'm a big fan of.
It's a waste of time and money, honestly.
No, it absolutely
all because these
is.
idiots can't do the right thing, and they're so blinded by their ambitions and their corruption that they're going to run out and destroy the party or try and control it, just like they did with the Tea Party brand in 2014. And again, you know what the Republican? Let me show you the Republican voters of Texas. This is their little company, the little pack they formed to trick voters into thinking that they're the Republican Party. This is their. I'm gonna pull this up in real time so you can see it. Now this group.
It said, "Screw you, Jobu." Well, while it's trying to pull up here, and while we're trying to get John back, I think the unfortunate but the good part is that this is going to give standing to other parties around the state to see how this plays out, see if we can actually trust our system here. It sucks that it's one of the biggest displays because it is the Montgomery County. It is Montgomery County. And, we talk about this on our show, not just because it's frustrating, which it is, but, we want people to realize, look, if it can happen here, it can happen anywhere. And they're not just taking it lying down either. They are fighting it. They are going to do the legal recourse. They've tried doing the right way of doing things, and now they're the right proper behind closed doors way of doing things, and they don't want to do that. So now it's the next step is to take it to the next episode.
Take it to the next level.
No, I was doing a Warren G song there. To the next episode.
You were what?
I was bringing you my thug rapping stuff. Simon knows it.
There's nothing thug about that rapping style that you've got.
I am nothing but gangsta.
That's what the cartel tells us.
Straight thug. Right here. We're going to take a quick commercial break because we need to. And I can rap if you want me to, but it's, we should start an OnlyFans, or was it OnlyFans or Locals or some nonsense? And it could be like Sandra's laying down the beats. But in the meantime.
What in the holy world?
Da 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 da. It's the mother. Man, that was really rude the way that commercial just cut me off. It's rapping for you guys, and now you missed it. I'm sorry. I want to thank you to the Montgomery County Tea Party. Don't forget the first and the third Mondays of the month. Citizens Grill, 6 p.m. Be there or be square. Or you can tune into our social media here on Texas Fully Loaded, whether it's the Facebook, the .com, or hold on, not the .com yet, but the YouTube for sure. For sure. You know what? I also can't wait for that to come out, Simon. It's going to be a glorious moment for everyone involved, I think. Of course, Justin and Skyland Companies, thank you for what you do, not just for logistics and diesel mechanic work, but also for our nation. You're a true patriot, and we appreciate what you do. You know, people think he's just a fun guy. He's not. He's not just a fun guy. He's actually really smart, and he knows a lot. Sit down and have a conversation with him, whether it's about the political world or whether it's about what's actually happening at our ports, especially there in the Houston area. Justin is the man with the plan. Thank you for believing in Texas Fully Loaded. Of course, TECN.TV, we appreciate you hosting us. You know what? You're like our apartment building. That's what TECN.TV is. It's an apartment building for all these amazing shows. And we may not have been the first tenants, but by gosh, we hope to be the ones that help cultivate a happy place. Happy place. That's what we are here at Texas. We're happy warriors in a happy place in our apartment complex called TECN.TV. Thank you so much, Ken and Bonnie, for what you guys do. And of course, all the other shows. Of course, Pastor Greg. Carmen Montiel had her premiere show last night. I hope it went well. I saw that she had posted that she was having it. I didn't get to catch it. I had to be at an HOA meeting. So what are you going to do with that? John has gone black screen. Oh, I was like,
I'm back. Sorry about that. I lost my internet for a while. It's raining like hell here. What I wanted to show our viewers, if I may, real quick. Did I interrupt you? I'm sorry, Sandra.
No. I was just thanking all of our amazing sponsors and telling people that if you want to support our show, you go to TexasFullyLoaded.com and click on #WeThePeopleWork. And noted. And that's what you do. So awesome. We appreciate your support. Don't forget, we have a YouTube page now for your friends who don't have social media. They can just go to youtube.com and watch it live there or catch some replays. Okay, go ahead. What were you going to show us?
So this is the Republican Voters of Texas. It's a PAC they founded in 2018 to trick voters into thinking they're the Republican Party. It was started by our chairman's wife, and she immediately took her name off everything, but she still runs it. All the operations, everything she does. If they ever take me to court and accuse me of that, there's plenty of eyewitnesses that she runs it. And she'll even tell you, well, I just did the paperwork for them. No, she runs it. It's her PAC, which kind of goes hand in glove with her political consulting agency. So if you follow the logic, she brings candidates on and then endorses them with this PAC to make them look legitimate, and then goes to the polls and say they're the Republican candidate. And if you speak out against this nonsense, her husband, who's the chair, threatens to sue you for speaking out against the PAC. It's ridiculous, but that's what happened, and we have documentation to prove that. So now if you go to, they turned in their TEC reports. You know those things are highly regulated, Sandra, right? If you're just a few cents off, they could fine you up to $10,000. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they had a small error between the reporting periods of over $11,000 missing. And so a complaint was filed about it, and it was finally looked into, and TEC got back and said, yeah, we looked into it, and we can't tell you what happened, but it's, we looked into it. So there was a FOIA request in for the results of that. But meanwhile, if you go to their Facebook page and they say red, always vote Republican, they don't care about that. They don't. They've worked with Democrats. I've seen it. Whatever it takes. If the devil worshippers were in power in Montgomery County, that banner would say, Satan, always vote Satan. That's just how these people are, whatever it takes to win. So if you go down to their website now, in the aftermath of their TEC violation deal, looky there. Their website's gone. Just gone into thin air. And it's been gone. And so I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if they got fined a bunch of money and got a bunch of violations. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But I do know that in the aftermath of all this and while this is going on, the chairman of the party went out and formed another PAC and called it the Republican Club. And he was filed as the treasurer on it, the chairman of the party. Now, while he's raising no money for the party and helping the party with anything, he's got this other PAC. So when he sends out a notice, Sandra, and says, hey, there's an event over at this club, this event place, come on out. I'm the chair of the party. Come on out and join us to help keep the county red. And you get there and you look at the sign-up sheet. The sign-up sheet says Republican Club. It's his PAC. So it's totally dishonest. And but that's how they're raising money. So again, if they can't control the Republican brand, they're going to destroy it. And that's the battle we're in.
If you can't beat them, join them is what they're hoping that you guys are going to come around and say,
But
or
y'all
just
get
give up
along.
and go away.
Y'all just get
It's not
along.
going to happen.
You can't go along with that.
No.
Yeah. Now that they've got they're running somebody and Steve Toth, with whatever issues you have with Steve Toth, still look at his voting record, and he's very important with the legislation he's been pushing in Austin for us. So you can be angry with him about certain things, but I'm very proud of the stuff at least he does fight for up there, and he's better than. Okay, put it this: he's the worst rep in the House except for all the other ones. How about that? But they were putting somebody to run against him, and I got some theories about how deep this little cabal goes and what they're doing that I won't share on the air, that I'll just continue to take steps to destroy.
Now, since you brought him up, I do recall that Steve Toth actually endorsed Brian Crist as the only candidate running for the county party chair.
He did, and I thought it was a dumb thing to do, and I told him that at the time. He reasoned that I'm trying to bring the party together, and if I endorse him, maybe it'll bring some peace to the party. And to thank him for his endorsement, they recruited somebody to run against him in that same race, and then put him on and endorsed his opponent. So these people are just nasty, and it's an old political trick that you use, just like what they did to Keogh, what Strauss did to Keogh when Keogh started to get some clout in Austin from being from the reddest county. Strauss brings him in and says, "Hey, Mark, if you give the seconding speech, then I'll do great things for you and help you out and give you the committee you want." And Mark, of course, famously went on the floor and said what a Christian, great leader, conservative champion Joe Strauss was, which he was lying out the side of his mouth, and we all knew it, undermined Keogh with his base, and then immediately Strauss stripped everything out from under Keogh, and Keogh ended up being, a one-termer and getting sent home after that.
Walter, are you testifying over here?
No, that was, and then Keogh was asked to assume the position. Because that's definitely what he got.
Huh.
Yeah.
Again.
And so you think these people would learn. It's like when they reached out to me that time and said, "Hey, we'll do anything you want. We'll help you. We'll want to help you run for office. We'll support you in everything you do. What do you need from us?" I said, "I need you to stop lying and conniving and just doing all the disgusting things you do. Can you do that for me?" Well, we'll meet with you to see how you can get along with us. Okay, then we're never going to get along.
Yeah. And yeah, it befuddles me. I don't understand why. I mean, it's plain English. And these are people that are in charge of our electoral process or a representative process. These are what the average American has to hang their hat on.
Well, brother, I marvel at the ability of our chairman to stand flat-footed in front of people and lie. It is world class. I mean, he and his wife do this. You know, and the people from the outside, like our attorney last night, I was talking to him. He goes, "Well, why don't you just show up and outvote Brian?" We do that every meeting.
You know what? Maybe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe at y'all's next meeting, he'll show up to drop off donuts and coffee.
Yeah, really.
Maybe are there pictures of him in drag in Brazil? Asking for a county.
But I probably at his homeschool coalition, maybe. You never know.
But to the average person, you can't even understand how this works. I mean, because we don't think this way. And when if we were to have a vote on this show on something and it was 2-1, the losing one wouldn't say, "Okay, well, I'm glad you guys voted that way, but anyway, I nullified the vote, so it didn't count." Or I canceled, I adjourned the meeting, it didn't count. Or we were at recess, guys. Hold on, we were at recess, so none of this counted. We were at ease. None of it counted. But this is the kind of crap our chairman does every time. So when the RPT just is dismissive and says, "Y'all just outvote him," isn't it cute that you guys don't understand why we're here?
So this is kind of funny. So we've been going through this insane, just absolute process with our HOA here in Laredo. And they finally got all of the family members kicked off of the board. The court had to step in. They couldn't be, the new members of the board could not have any relation or any kind of ties or anything to the original board. And the daughter of the original board, who was also on the board, showed up at the meeting last night and said, this is not happening, and I don't agree to this, and y'all smell like cheese, is essentially what she said. And I brought my lawyer, so you have to cancel this meeting right now. Now, in fairness to her, the only thing that she was correct about was they did not give proper notification for the HOA meeting. But they, as the old board, never gave notification for the meetings at all, number one. And number two, she's not allowed by court of law to have anything else to do with the HOA. She even gave up her right to appeal and let that time run out. So why they listened to anything that psycho had to say in the first place, I have no idea. But I did make the suggestion that they file a restraining order against her, because by every court document, as of right this moment, she is not allowed to have anything to do with the HOA. And I think that, you know what, start slapping these stupid restraining orders on them. Yeah, they're just a piece of paper, but it'll be really cute when her little manicured self gets put in handcuffs for showing up at another HOA meeting. Well, and the same thing's going to have to happen with Brian Christ.
We have an HOA forming here, and you know, it's going to happen, but we're already going to have problems because look, there's a gentleman right when you enter our neighborhood who has erected like a 50-foot flagpole in his front yard. Now, look, I like the American flag, I like the Texas flag, and I like the U.S. Navy flag. But if everybody puts a school, like the kind of flagpole you'd see in front of a library or school in their front yard, it's just going to be a nightmare and look really stupid. But I know what's coming as soon as you say something. Y'all hate veterans. Y'all hate Americans. It's going to be ridiculous, but it's going to happen. It's got to happen. You can't do that.
I think that the concept of HOAs are great as long as they are just like any other form of government. As long as they're doing the right thing for the right reasons, it won't be an issue. Part of the reason that we had such an upset with our HOA here is that since we've lived in this house 9.5 years, and in 9.5 years, our HOA has gone up astronomically. to the point where I actually went on a rant about it on Texas Fully Loaded. I'm sorry, on Sandra for Texas one time, because they actually looked at me and they said, well, you're running for office. You know how this works. Your prices just have to keep going up. There's nothing you can do about it. When your vendors go up, then you have to up, the money has to come from somewhere. So you have to up your dues. And I said, that's literally not how this works. You're supposed to be working for the people, which means you need to find a vendor who's going to work within the parameter. I mean, it's just, it's the stupidest, most dumb nonsense I've ever seen in my freaking life. These people are
Sounds like you're running for HOA, Sandra.
No, thankfully I dodged that bullet. Someone asked if I would, and I said, no, I sure will not. I have a lot of fires, but that's not one of them.
I served on an HOA one time, and it was a thankless, miserable job. Really was. I wouldn't want to do that again. We had our HOA meeting, our first one, because it's forming, and my wife says, I signed us up to go to it. I'm like, well, I'm not going. And she goes, well, it's on such and such night. I said, I'm not going. Anyway, we're sitting in the HOA meeting, and it was a miserable experience. And she keeps saying, well, my husband knows something about that. I was like, cut it out. And my neighbor texted me, because your wife is really working hard to get you to sign up to be on this board. I said, it's never going to happen. And I got up and I left the room, and I went outside in the hallway, and I feel like I was a little kid in school. My wife comes running out, John, come back in here. They need to ask you a question. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. So I still have not done it. I'm not going to do it.
No, it's, you know what? I feel like I pick enough battles of everywhere else. Like, I don't mind if they, you know, want my advice for whatever that's worth, or if they, you know, need some help on a state or whatever level. I mean, I'll help, but oh my gosh. Okay. So Simon said that he was working on a rap for me, and it was going to be magical. And he said, it's ready. Here it is. Sandra shout outs Montgomery T.
Sandra shouts out Montgomery T. Hang with them and drink caffeine. I say y'all out of habit. I eat bugs, but no rabbit. Sorry if my iambic pentameter was not what you had imagined, Simon, but I am. So
hang on a second. Hang on a second. Wiggy, 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 woo, wiggy, 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 woo, wiggy, 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 woo. And now Miss Patty will Yes,
Miss Patty loves it. That's her favorite. You know what? I shouldn't have deleted that just for, you know what? I'll find it.
Wow.
Simon, you're a genius and no one gives you enough credit. I'm sorry. That was musical.
Let's try and get this video to play. Tell me if y'all can hear this. This is a woman who is really upset about she identifies as about not being allowed to use the restroom. Can y'all hear this? I've never watched this, so fair warning.
That's just lovely. I had a neighbor confront me for using the women's restroom. I lived here for 4.5 years. Everyone should know that I'm a trans woman. I've always been known as Kaylee. I've always used she, her pronoun. I've been having some stomach issues because of Trulicity, and I had to use the bathroom real quick. And they're single-use bathrooms, and it's the only place that I feel safe using the women's bathroom. Well, I got done and got out, and this neighbor was talking to another neighbor and started pointing out the sign. I knew exactly what she was talking about because there's a big old woman sign. And I'm like, is there a problem? She's like, yeah, you're using the woman's restroom. You're a man. And I said, I'm a trans woman. And she's like, no, you're a man. And she kept saying that over and over. And she kept saying, you're not a she, you're he. You shouldn't use it. You were born a man. And just over and over. And honestly, I just lost it. And just started screaming and swearing. I just.
Ma'am, you're lucky she didn't kick you in the balls. That's all I'm going to say about it.
I was hoping that at the end that we were going to find out that she did.
Isn't that something? This is a crazy world we're living in. People are tired of this crap, and they're pushing back on it finally.
Now, I'll be completely honest. I mean, if it's a single-use bathroom,
you were turned on, weren't you?
Yeah, a single-use bathroom, I'd use it. I mean, as long as you lock the door behind you and make sure it's clear whenever you leave.
Yeah.
If the other one's not working, do that all the time. And I literally say, hello, knock on the door. If it's
open, man, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? That was some intense 5 o'clock shadows. She's not a very good Tran. He's not a very good Tran. Maybe they should be taking some pheromones or hormones or something to kind of help with this. Like,
what is a hormone?
what is a woman?
Hey, so here's another good video for you. So
How do you make a woman?
you got to learn how to translate things. And this is, I'm going to give you a liberal speak here on this. Let me let you hear this psycho speak
I'm
first.
a really good translator.
Now, Republicans are using their narrow majority to force the American people to pay higher gas prices, just as big oil companies are amassing record profits.
Let me translate that for you. Republicans are forcing Biden to stop using the strategic oil reserves. So that's how Democrats interpret that, is you're going to drive up gas prices because you refuse to deplete the strategic oil reserves.
Aren't they trying to get us to get all the gasoline engines off of the street anyway? I mean, yeah. So that's why Tesla is making a boost. I mean, what's their argument now? Now they're supporting gasoline. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
Did Biden just make Democrats less green energy again?
I don't know. That woman never says anything. She's dumb as a box of rocks, dude.
She's not just dumb as a box of rocks. She's angry about it.
So she is
and
actually.
How dare you for being smarter than her?
She is physically. Y'all drink up. She's physically Biden's translator. Get it?
But I'm tish. This is
lowballing it today, huh?
I mean, I like to put the kids on my lap, and then they touch my hairy legs, and cockroaches crawl all over me and stuff.
Well, some videos actually can capture what happens when Democrats let the wokeness get out of control and it comes after them. For a while, it's a spectacle, and then all of a sudden, it turns into where it's not fun anymore because
somebody's
out of
horny.
Control, and all of a sudden, there you go. You know,
I titled that one "Horny in the Crowd." Da, 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 da.
Oh, gross!
I got a spike for you, honey. You want to be a woman?
Hey, have y'all been keeping up with what's going on between the Daily Wire and Steven Crowder? Are y'all familiar with this?
No.
Real quickly, so Steven Crowder was offered $50 million to go work for the Daily Wire, which is Ben Shapiro's organization. Well, it's not it's organization he's on. He's not the only owner.
$50 million.
$50 million over, I think it was 4 years. And
there we go.
Crowder said, I want $30 million each year. The Daily Wire said, well, the contract is such that if you get deplatformed and you're not making money, then and the organization isn't making money, then you won't make money. So Crowder got mad about that and accused them of trying to make him a wage slave or whatever, because that was a term that the guy used. He said, initially as you start really making the big money, you're kind of a wage slave because we give you this amount of money. And so Crowder went on and tried to attack the Daily Wire, which was stupid. Now, I think this is all orchestrated just to get everybody talking about it like we're doing right now, which gives them more people to go watch them. I think they all look at Joe Rogan there, and it takes controversy to get there. The Daily Wire, I mean, like Matt Walsh, I think has over 1 million subscribers. It's a tedious process to build up that brand name, as we know here on the show, right? But $30 million over 4 years seemed significant to me, and $50 million or whatever over 4 years, and he's wanting $30 million a year. So he went into this big fight where he secretly recorded Jeremy, the owner of Daily Wire, and then released it and accused him of being in bed with big tech, and conning people, and it's a mess. But this is kind of in a bigger scale, this is what we're talking about here in Montgomery County going on too. You got conservatives beating up on conservatives for not being conservative enough and questioning motives and all kind of stuff. We really need to figure out a way forward to work on the things that are most important to move the ball instead of getting caught in these little. And look, I don't agree with a lot of things that happen, as you guys know. I mean, I'm the first one to speak up. I pissed everybody off at some point or another. But there's some big issues right now in Texas we're going to deal with. The gender modification thing, our education, the pornography in the schools, the abortion issue is still a big issue for us. The border. There's still so much, guys, and we got to work together on this because at some point our best warriors are going to say, screw this, I'm done. If y'all can't get along, I'm out.
And that's exactly what they're hoping for. Guys, I hate to say this, but we're out of time. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, but here we are. Here we are. Don't forget, tomorrow is a Ladies' Day. Women on Wednesday. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. No? Okay, well, it is anyway, whether you like it or not. So be prepared because we're going to have some fun. I haven't told the ladies this yet, but I want to talk about a new book. It's all the rage. It's called Let's Talk About It. It's called Let's Talk About It.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, it's being talked about. That's
Sandra.
We're going to talk about it. Y'all aren't going to like it, but we're going to talk about it. Somebody's got to. No! Who's going to yell at Walter when he puts on a wig and comes on the show again?
Did you put a wig on, Walter? Did I miss that?
He just comes on. With his, hey, y'all! It's awful. It's just awful. Well, we love you guys.
Sandra, why don't you give us our closing discussion, our closing word?
I have a feeling you know what? We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Saucy. Salacious.
Walter has too much power. It's not okay. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to go to TexasFullyLoaded.com. Click on hashtag We the People Work. If you didn't catch us live, catch us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube.